Okay, I'd like to call this regularly scheduled ORBC meeting into order. Our first item of business today is to approve the minutes of the October 14th meeting. Everybody's had a chance to look at them. Are there any corrections, deletions, or changes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Sean.
I'll second it, Duke.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Did I fail to put on the agenda? Oh, no, there it is. Approval of the certificate of payment for application for certificate of payment of number 10, which is in the amount this month. We're spending real money of $3,222,453.39. Before I turn this over to David and George for any comment, I did include in the package of information a summary of where we stood in terms of payments through payment number 9, which was done last month. And so as of November 1, we were at $17,440,000 spent on the project. There's a few more things that were spent outside of this particular item that are on Jen Ternesky's sheet. But I just thought it was interesting to see where we stand. We're going to spend some real money now. But this month will be over $20 million. So David and George, if you have any comments about the pay application, fire away.
A quick comment, Kip. We didn't receive this by email, so if you could just follow up later with a copy. Or
You did not receive this?
I didn't get it in my inbox.
I did send it out. I'm sorry if you didn't get it. I will send it out again. They're talking about the certificate of the payment application.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you get the summary of payments through application number 9?
I didn't. I just got the email from Linda with the agenda and the minutes.
Oh, because I sent out 3 things. I sent out the.
Yep. No, sorry, my mistake. It's there.
Okay.
It just came in. Okay.
It just came in. I sent it out hopefully yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Dave, George, do you have anything you want to talk about in this payment application?
Just the concrete capasso. That's the slab for A and B was poured last week, so that's pretty much the slabs all have been placed. Concrete masonry, the capasso masonry, that was for the the masonry walls, the double-story walls. So those are all, I would say, by Monday, Tuesday next week, the 2-story walls will be complete. B, C, around B and C, and then we'll be working on the single-story walls in the courtyard, and then on this this east side, and then in A. General trades is delivering door frames and closing the building in. Greenwood roofing, actually that's the roof's all dried in, so right now they're just working on detailing work, putting in curbs and such. Spray fireproofing keeps going along, working mostly on intumescent paint right now, and then next week he'll start this main level, A and B, with the slab we just poured. Aluminum storefront, that's mostly just the mock-up. Gypsum board, finishing up, closing in the building on the exterior, then it's been framing, pretty much finished framing on the lower level, and started the main level. And then our MEP guys are just doing all their rough-ins, lower level, main level. And site work, Sean's doing some retaining wall work. That's pretty much it this month.
Are there any questions concerning this application for payment? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve this application. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it, Duke.
Is there any further discussion concerning this application? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Thank you. All right. On the progress report.
Okay, this is told for the end of October. Budget wise, or we've last month we kind of revised the substantial completion dates for the academic wing to May 14th now instead of April 14th. We're projecting about 63% complete on the academic wing, 72% site work landscaping, and then obviously haven't started the assembly wing. Budget wise, we're still in good shape budget wise. The allowances kind of remained, and then our contingency went down. The CMR contingency went down about $30,000, but we're still projecting a $1,143,000 in our CMR contingency.
George, before you leave that page, from the original budget of contingency of $1,000,004, we've used up about $285,000, $286,000 roughly of the contingency. Just broadly speaking, where has the contingency been applied?
For the I think for the most part it was in the site work.
Okay. Okay.
With the revisions to the utilities and all of that. Here I can show you. Yeah. So it's I'm going to say the biggest is like I said, the site work on the the electrical feed, and then there was some and actually this is a projection the potential. So the primary electrical feed was the big one that is yet. We're kind of going back and forth with the engineer. Actually, Sean Zalon knows us some comments. And, we are projecting some overtime when we did the revision for option 2 on the schedule. So we carry like 91,000 for that. And then as far as what we approved on our contingency side, most of it's, the utility company allowances and the work that, had to be done for the, the utility work in the primary electrical feed. So that's kind of where it's going or where it's gone right now.
Okay, so we have option number 2 revision, which costs us which we are expecting about 91,000. Site work is kind of the balance of it.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Then our trade allowance log that didn't really change too much from last month. The allowances we were carrying. I think there was a couple.
Okay.
Major cost schedule impact items for this month. There was probably about 9 or 10 RFIs issued. None really had any cost impact. PR 24 and 25 was issued this period. Pricing those now. We have, and then 2 ASIs, 14 and 15 were issued, which are just clarifications. PCOs.
George, just for my clarification, ASI stands for?
Architectural Supplemental Instruction.
Thank you.
It's just basically a clarification in either the drawings or the specifications.
Thank you.
PCOs for review. Actually, PCO 22 and 21, those are gotten the reviews back from the architect engineer and just waiting for comments back from the trades. And actually, I did get the other day the comments back from Sean's Lawn on 22, so I'll be processing that in the next couple days. And then the only one that's in review right now is the temporary toilets rough-in. That's in the ELP area, and it's actually to provide some offsets because that area we're going to use for temporary CAF and gym and media center. However, the toilet rooms are designed for the little kids, so there's really, when we put the full-size toilets in those spaces, there's really no knee room between the toilet and the wall. So it's just providing a couple offsets in the flange so that we get the clearances we need for the knee room.
So then when it comes time to actually put the permanent fixture in though, we're okay? It'll just.
Yeah, you just take the offset out.
Okay.
It slides right into the flange.
And it's all outside of the wall, so we're not opening anything up.
No, actually, these are, they're floor mounted toilets, so it's in the floor. So yeah, we're not opening anything up. It would just be a matter of taking the offset out and then putting in the kids' toilet.
And that's contingency.
George, does this take into consideration that the conversation that we had earlier with regard to transition, that we may not put temporary toilets into the space next to the gym in order to leave more floor space for the temporary gym?
Yes, it does. Actually, the original proposal had 7 toilets, but we sent it back to them to revise it so that it'd only be 5 toilets that are affected.
Diane, this is Amy. Just to be clear, that doesn't give more floor space to the gym, but it does allow for storage within that temporary space.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're going to use those two rooms for storage. So, schedule activities. There's none really as far as revisions go, other since the option 2 was chosen.
We're tracking to that updated schedule.
Yeah, we are. Yes. Yep. And then procurement issues. We have the main electrical gear that was delivered to the site, and actually right now we're putting in the pads so we can set them on the pads. The fire pump was delivered to the site. That's in the fire pump room right now. Curtain walls, storefront materials, all that materials delivered to their shop. It's being fabricated, and actually I think originally was going to show up this week, but now we're looking at, I think, the 22nd for the material to show, and then for Lockheed to start.
Is that, and you've got temporary protection in the opening?
Yeah,
so
yeah, right now.
No. The schedule finishes?
No, it doesn't affect any of that. So, yeah, what WI is putting in the temporary protection on the opening, so it doesn't affect any of the finishes inside.
So just to be clear, the windows did not arrive on November 8th. They're going to arrive on the 22nd. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And then and then that's the anticipation. They'll start on the 22nd as well, and then work in the courtyard, and then first, and then kind of on the outside after the courtyard, starting in C.
They'll do windows and curtain wall together, or they can do all punched openings first?
Yeah, just the punch opening first. And then the only other, potential impact maybe on the overall schedule, depending, the finishes with the carpet, the accent wall tile, I think it was the cafeteria toilet rooms, acoustical tile accents, the wall coverings, and maybe the accent painting change. It could have some impact depending on the lead times of the materials. I don't anticipate really anything, because I believe the carpet, that just affects the media center, and then the accent wall tiles, we haven't heard any lead times on those, but just put that in there because there could be a potential impact on the schedule with that.
George, quick question. So the changes to the windows in the gymnasium, that has not yet been incorporated because we're waiting on the drawings from SLAM at this point until that gets factored in?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I did have the mason and the window lock key, and actually the drywall. I didn't have them give me some budget numbers, so they have looked at it, but it was just like budget numbers. We didn't have any, drawings or anything. So once I get the drawings and stuff from SLAM, then I could issue them those drawings, and it should be a pretty quick turnaround. As far as
You should have them by the end of the week, George, like end of day tomorrow. Structural is just completing their documents. I did send a preview of the docs to a few of the building committee members who asked for progress, and I can share that later. I think we're the next agenda item.
Okay. All right, and then this is down in the lower level, B, kind of, I guess looking north down the corridor. Actually, the courtyard's kind of on this side. So as I said, we're framing. We have door frames in. The plumber and electrician, they've been, or all the MEPs been roughing in the areas. This is kind of a the same spot, but almost looking say west. And then you can see the walls, they're framing, the plumbing and electrical has been framing down on the lower level. I'd say by end of next week, that last week in November, first week in December, we should be pretty much roughed in and getting ready for sheetrocking down in that lower level. Again, this is the kind of the same. We're in south, looking north in the courtyard.
George, what's going to go along that wall there, the open wall?
That's curtain wall.
All curtain wall. Okay.
Yeah, this is all curtain wall. This right here, that's these, these punch windows. So that's where Lockheed's going to start. And actually, they'll start right here and then, work their way down. But this will be curtain wall. Those are the punch windows.
Okay.
This is kind of in the corridor on B, looking down towards A, with all the framing and rough ends.
Scott mentioned that the building inspector is gonna, I guess he may start to come out and start looking at some in-wall inspections.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna start doing that
That's great.
next week or so.
Mhm. Kind of like the open air.
George, can you give a quick update on the
is the-
status of the courtyard in terms of, I know there's always concern about, getting the boulders moved around and setting things up before it gets closed in. Is it in good shape with regard to that?
Yeah, it's in good shape. The mason's complete on the second, these 2 stories for B and C. So right now we're working on this this elevation right here with the the sheathing's been done. They're working on the AVB, and then middle of next week the mason will be in there. He's just going to use frame. He's not using the hydromobile. He's using frame staging. So that they actually have that there now. So they'll be doing that. So the plan is in the next couple, the mason will come in probably next week, and start this elevation. He'll have, I'm gonna like 2 weeks to do that elevation. And while he's doing that, we're gonna have, so the mason's gonna be working on this elevation. And then when the curtain wall and window person Lockheed comes, they're gonna start with the punch walls here and here, and then put the punch walls in here and here. And then also there's like a curtain wall there he'll put in. Once Lockheed's done with that, and then Sean's Lawn has to come in and he'll finish up whatever drainage he has. He'll move the boulders, put in the steps, and kind of, we're kind of, working the ends and then moving our way out. And this is the access, we're using here as the access for the machines. There's actually it's right here. There's like a courtyard or a corridor here where we're going to be using the right in here where we're going to be using the machines getting in and out.
Okay.
So, and then up top, we do have the lift up here. So we're actually using this as an area for our lift. And then the frames, they're just going to bring them from below and then bring them up. So that's the plan.
Thank you for going over that.
Yep. So I would say by end of December, early January, we should be pretty close to wrapping up that courtyard.
And then to Diane's point, planting materials that just
Oh,
comes
yeah,
in through the,
Yeah.
you don't need to leave anything open, it just comes in through normal access.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, plantings and it'll just be the topsoil and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yep. That's on the main level. This is just the main level where, actually that's the lower level.
It's lower level, right?
Yeah, that's the lower level looking in towards A. Yeah, mechanical room. And that's been all, the slabs all poured, and actually right now the masonry walls are just about finished in there. And we're gonna start setting equipment and roughing in the equipment. And then that's on the outside corner. Yeah, ELP to the,
As we're looking at it.
yeah, as we're looking at it, yeah, it'll be to the left.
Yeah.
And then there's the retaining wall, which they're working on now, should finish up in the next day or so. And then this brick elevation, that's all done. And then they're working on this elevation right here now. Should be done in another day or so. You can see the corner of the button. Yeah, that's that's all done. This is the elevation they're working on. They're with these two elevations right now with the brick. It's kind of
There it is.
hard to see, but yeah, that's all complete, that elevation. That's C. West side is C. Yeah. And that's the slab for B and A. So that's all the radiant heat piping. And the mesh, that's what we poured last Tuesday.
That went pretty well, didn't it, George?
Yeah, it did. It went very
How
well.
many trucks, George? I forget.
I think it was almost 40 trucks.
I did notify the neighbors, and apparently, I mean, one lady called me and she was very delighted to know about the projects moving along, and all she was concerned about was whether she was going to be able to get out of her driveway to go to work. I said, no problem. But frankly, did you get any complaints?
No, we didn't get any complaints.
Good. So a little bit of warning was very useful here.
And then that's working on the roof. So that's since been, we're all dried in. Now we're just, flashing like these curbs and all the units and stuff, working on the parapets, just doing the detailing work right now. And then that's it. I don't know if anybody had any questions or anything.
George, where are we with temporary heat in the building?
Right now, the heaters are coming scheduled for tomorrow, actually. And then we were planning to use the propane tank, the 18,000 gallon propane tank. So we have the vendor coming in scheduled for next week, the 19th, to finish the piping and all of that, and then looking to probably start our temporary heat like around the 26th or the 29th.
Mike, who did you get for your propane vendor?
What's that?
I was going to ask Mike Lynch, who did he buy? Who did he get the propane vendor? Who did he
We
get?
use Mitchell Fuel from Danbury.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, but that fuel though, we have that in allowance, right?
Yeah, the
Allowance
fuel's
for
in,
heat fuel?
yeah, the fuel's in the allowance.
Yeah.
There's an $80,000 allowance.
And then is there a concern now that the propane tank is going to be active? Is there any increased level of protection that we have to provide at the holes?
Just barriers.
Okay, do more barriers than what we have in place now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the fire marshal has to approve that.
Yes,
anyways,
he
right?
does.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and Scott started that conversation with Bob.
Great.
So, but yeah, we'll have to add more barriers. We'll add concrete barriers around the filling station.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and then we did get the primaries pulled for the power, and we have the meter and everything hooked up. So probably today we'll actually get the trailer off the generator, and then the building itself will go on. We'll get those generators out of here. It looks like Tuesday next week. So all the primary is actually pulled for the transformer set for the new building. They did that Saturday, Eversource.
So you'll be fully using the new primary line for both the building and the trailer by Tuesday of next week?
Correct.
What are you gonna do without hearing the sound of that generator?
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna feel too quiet. I don't know what's gonna happen. You'll have to get like a machine, like a white noise machine.
Yeah.
Just get so
You have
used
a
to
great sense of humor. I'm sure the neighbors will be happy.
it. Yeah, I think they will. And then the building's closed in, we'll be closed in another week or so. So the lights, it'll be a lot better with the lights. You won't be seeing them as much. Although we do shut them off at night, anyways.
Okay. Anything else, George?
I don't know if any other questions.
Hearing none, let's go on to our next item, which is talking about any further work with option 3.2, the design committee and Amy. Anything we want to talk about there?
I'm happy to provide an update. I already mentioned that we're done with the architectural drawings that were related to that, which will be issued as PR 27 for the project. And like I said, we expect to issue it end of day tomorrow. That would include the architecturals and the structural drawings. There's 13 architectural drawings that are affected by that change, and a couple of structural. And essentially just implementing what you all approved. And I see Sean on the call, and so I wonder if he wants to kind of opine about the ARB meeting and his success there. I think it was an unbelievable challenge to participate in that meeting. We had no audio. So for about an hour and a half, both of us stayed on the line kind of watching the meeting in silence. And then I ended up giving up. And to his credit, Sean stayed on. The audio turned on at some point around hour 2.5. And by hour 3, he got the approval on the gym wall. So that's a testament to some patience.
Sean's noted for his patience.
Was the conversation around the wall actually that long?
No, it was 9 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good. I was just going to
10
say,
minutes.
that would be even a bigger problem if it was that long a conversation. That would be ridiculous.
All unrelated, but there were audio issues, and they had a lot on the agenda.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we sent the draft drawings, or the rendering drawings, from Amy over to Dave Keating. He printed them out, passed them around to the members that were on site in the room at Town Hall. And with a couple of, while they were reviewing the drawings, I was, discussing Amy's bullet points on our improvements, and I think it was a unanimous decision to move forward with the windows.
Excellent.
All good.
Thanks, Sean, for leading that. Makes it
Yeah, that's
easy.
great. Thank you, Sean.
Oh, now we go, Sean. Okay. Amy, I just had one question, because I got a picture of, the architectural drawings. There was just and this is really silly, the basketball backboards and nets that were on the wall were listed as motorized. Is that, I don't think that's right, is it? I know the ones at the end of the gymnasiums are motorized because they got to go up and come back down. But I didn't know if the ones on the walls were supposed to be motorized.
They are all motorized. The ones at the ends flip up and kind
Right.
of hide up in the ceiling plane so
Right.
that there's clear view to the presentation on the platform. The sidewall ones are wall mounted and they stay in place, but they go up and down based on the height of the children in PE class, or
Okay.
if it's going to be used after hours or on the weekends by older kids or adult leagues, they can be raised and lowered for the rim height.
Nope, that's a great explanation. Thank you very much. I thought
Absolutely.
maybe it was just redundant, an error. I got it.
Nope, intentional, but very different from one another. So good observation.
Clearly.
Mhm.
Clearly.
Amy, just a quick question, just after reviewing the architectural drawings that you shared, and I wondered if you could just share with the group at some point the renderings that Sean provided so we could all see those. The exterior window headers is like a metal band that's consistent with window headers elsewhere. It was kind of hard to tell. I couldn't quite tell from the drawings. And then the second question I had was about the acoustic concrete block on the interior, whether that looks different than the other block or whether it's really just a material difference.
So two things. One, the window header is not metal. It is a brick soldier course.
Okay.
So it's just the same red brick oriented vertical. And it reads differently because our architectural documentation is in black and white. So we have to put a hatch mark on that to indicate it so the contractor knows that it's different than the regular horizontal bands. And your other question was about the acoustic block. Yes, it does look different. Acoustic block has it's angled a little bit on its face and open underneath so that sound actually gets absorbed inside the wall. There's some acoustic like insulation within each block. And so it literally traps the sound. And it will be painted the same. It will look like white block, but it is angled so that there's a gap on the underside and that insulation is exposed so that that's what traps the sound.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for explaining that. And also, I just want to compliment you on I think the articulation of the changes in brick patterning around the cornice and along the wall really add sort of a layer of detail to the brick wall surrounding the windows and on the cafeteria wall that sort of do break it up and add some nice shadow lines and whatnot. And I think it's make it tie it into other walls in the building. So I think that looks great.
Thanks. Yep, I think we actually used the same detailing at that top of wall as we have at the academic building. So it's already on the project and we just carried it around rather than having the clear story there. So all good. And if you'd like, I mean, I do have the rendering open 3.2. It's the same as we shared at the last building committee meeting. And so that's what Sean had shared at the ARB. But if you'd like, I think someone might need to make me a presenter. I don't know if I can just share, but I can throw it up on the screen if someone is interested.
Let me try.
It's if not, you all can refer to last month's meeting for the same image. Oh, I see that I got it. Okay, so share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I can't see it on my own, but that's the 3.2 with, we turned the trees off so that you can really see the wall a little better. It shows the detailing at the top of wall that Diane was talking about, and then the soldier course here reads a little lighter. It's not going to be, it'll be the same brick. And then the protected courses of brick. Our final details actually, I think, are a little bit better in that we made sure that the protected brick rows all aligned across from the administration building all the way to the area at the cafeteria.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Amy or Diane, this might be too in the weeds. We had a discussion, I think it was Rusty, on the administration windows. I think the sill was a cement or concrete just there to give it a little difference. Does that need to be carried around to the sill on these windows from a aesthetic or look or feel, just since this is kind of like a front of the building too.
Right, so it's actually the header of the window, and
Got
that's a cast stone.
Got
If you remember at the time of design, we had studied cast stone headers at all of the windows around the building or just at the administration, and it was selected to stay just at the administration. So we did not suggest it for the gym wall. I think that the gym is going to be more reflective of similar window proportions as the academic areas.
Okay,
And so we're
thank you.
happy with it in brick.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Thank you, Amy.
Sure.
Are there any other questions right now? Okay, being none, let's go on to item number 5 today, which is a choice of update on our interior furniture finishes and possible locations and sponsor funding for special art and murals. I'm going to turn this over to both Katie and to Diane.
Yeah, so we had a really good meeting last week. I'll just kick it off and then Amy can kind of follow through. Amy and Amanda Hastings, who is doing the interior design work on the project, along with Luke Forshaw, and I apologize, Luke's assistant principal, I've forgotten her name, was there as well, and Katie attended as well. So it was a really productive meeting. We went through a lot of furniture, a lot of finishes, just really kind of put final eyes on everything. And I think that we came out with decisions on everything in terms of colors, furniture, finishes, and whatnot. I think we achieved what seemed to be the committee's agenda of kind of keeping things simple in terms of color, but yet still vibrant and fun, considering it's an elementary school. So I think that was all really successful. Luke seemed very comfortable that what was selected matched the goals of the school and what the teachers had all indicated and the staff had all indicated that they needed. And Luke can elaborate on that if you would like. So then what came out of the meeting too, which we hadn't really anticipated, is a discussion of potentially bringing in some art to the school for interior decoration. In particular, one location that's already been priced into the project, where the intention was to do a custom mural wall covering of some sort on the back wall of the main stairs, going from the main entrance floor down to the academic spaces down below. That is still to be designed, and SLAM has a graphic designer on their staff who is going to work with us. And so we kind of threw out some ideas of that and would like to pursue perhaps involving some folks from Ox Ridge or the committee, whoever would like to get involved in perhaps coming up with some ideas and graphic images that could be in that location. Some ideas that were thrown out were perhaps an old map enlarged, a map of Darien enlarged, or some sort of graphic images of Darien, or something having to do with the school itself. So more to come on that. But again, that's priced into the project as something that was going to be developed at this point. That was all anticipated by SLAM. There were 2 or 3 other areas of the school where SLAM had put into place the kind of snowflake star-shaped acoustic tile accents at number 8 down there, where we thought it's a potential location for a piece of artwork that could be brought in by outside funding. And in particular, those 2 locations were in the media center, above the kind of white wall working spaces there, and also in the cafeteria, kind of high up above. There was a lot of open space. So we thought that was a great potential location to maybe bring in some creative talent from the school, from graduates of Darien school system artists. So we're just kind of throwing some ideas around, but the idea is to bring in some sort of original artwork, maybe in the form of a mural that has something to do with the media center, working with the director of the media center for some ideas. And so we're just starting to kind of toss around those ideas. We thought it would be really great to bring some artwork into the school and to, tie it into people who had gone to the school, who'd gone through the school system, and to bring some images that are meaningful and some art into the school. So in both that location, also talking about potentially doing it in the cafeteria. Katie had the suggestion of perhaps potentially in the form of photographs, enlarged photographs. Again, the idea of bringing some creative talent to the school to bring a little bit of richness into the finishes. And then one other location was there was some tile work behind water fountains, and Katie had this great idea to potentially take some of the artwork that's existing in the school that would be lost otherwise in all the forms and all the tiles that were made over all the years by all the students, and potentially, breaking them up and creating a new mural in a location such as behind the water fountains at the school to somehow tie back into the artwork and the history of the school as it is. So those were just some fun ideas that we put out there, and Luke was very much in support of it, and as was Katie and I. So we thought we'd kind of continue with that effort to, and that work we thought could potentially be paid for by outside funding, be it a donation from the PTO or elsewhere. So thought we'd share that with you. That was sort of exciting. But in general, with regard to this meeting, we all thought it was quite successful. We're limited changes in terms of what was presented, and I think the finishes are all pretty much decided on and moving forward.
Good.
I don't know if Amy wants to follow up on that, or Katie or Luke, who are at the meeting.
Right.
You covered that
So
wonderfully, Diane. Thank you.
Yeah, and we're going to also be putting out another PR proposal request to ONGAP to document those changes, which are changes to the interior finishes. And then the furniture package goes out separately.
The only thing I'd add is I agree, Dan. You did a great job summarizing. It's the level of detail and discussion was phenomenal, and the fact that we had all the materials and could make some choices. So I appreciate that extra set of eyes on all of this. I did already speak to our Oxford PTO about the potential for 2 of the 3 locations, and just to be clear, I think we're talking about that main stairway area that will be built when the academic wing is ready. That would be the part that we're talking about having SLAM weigh in on a graphic design option that we bring back to the bigger committee. I think that's part A, and then B and C are really going to be parts that are going to be built in the assembly wing, specifically that library media center and the common room, the cafeteria. So I've already talked to our Oxford PTO about that potentially coming their way. They're very keen to support that effort. As we get more figures and we have a sense of what the actual cost would be, I'll keep them up to speed in terms of whether they want to encumber an amount now, whether we'll have to, encumber amount going forward later, and then we'll walk through the process of obviously probably having to bring that forward to our Board of Education as a gift. So I've just laid a little bit of the groundwork that if the committee wants to pursue it, just to share with you, the PTO is in favor of it as well.
And Dr. Adley's aware of it as well.
Amy, this it's due. Just as you go through this process and the fact that the move-in date is moved to the summer, we're not dealing with April, and I think we're ahead of this. I think in some earlier conversations that I was part of, any supply chain issues or significant pricing issues as you move forward with all of furniture and fixtures and materials?
Yeah, we unfortunately we're seeing significant escalation in prices for the furniture. So we're working through that. Amanda's actually working with the manufacturers to get a budget number on all of the selections. After last week's meeting, just knowing that we've sort of finalized the selections, we may need to pull some supplemental furniture out of the package. So, for example, in classrooms, we have the 22 or 24 classroom tables and chairs for students, desk for the teachers, but in addition, there are some low seating for some reading areas. There's some wiggle stools and some rocking chair versions of student seating at a group table. So it's in excess of the quantity of seats needed for the number of students in the classroom. So we might need to pull those out as a separate line item and either track them separately as an alternate to the FF&E phase, or perhaps look to a gift, for certain of those elements. And we'll come back to Luke and others and talk about that once we have the budget established and we can see what fits and what we might have to set aside.
But you also see, thank you, I appreciate that. And you also don't see any challenge with, once the decisions are made, ordering and being able to furnish that school next summer.
Right. So, while it's a change to the schedule that actually benefited the furniture package, right? So we still feel comfortable. We're still going to push to get the package to the state before the end of this year, so that it can be processed or bid or come off of state contract ordered early next year. And the move-in date changing has actually given a little more leeway for that to be, procured.
Good. Thank you, Amy.
Following up on that, what's happening to the old furniture, and can that be stored until we're guaranteed on-time delivery of the new furniture?
Right. So certainly I'll let Mike talk about whether some of that furniture is being reused. We are looking to make sure that anything that's in new quality or equipment in rooms like the OTPT that can be reused, we will look to do that if it's in new condition. We're going to use some of it in the temporary spaces for the library, the gymnasium, and the music rooms for the first year of operation. And then Mike, you can opine about the remainder of the furniture.
Well, we're going to use the cafeteria tables too, because those are like 3 years old and they're mobile, they're on wheels. Our plan was to take most of the furniture and whatever was not needed in the new building, which is probably 95 to 98% of the existing furniture, and distribute it out and replace the worse off pieces in our own elementary schools, and then offer it up for sale to other school districts, and failing that, give it away to other school districts, which is what we've done in the past. Some of the lesser funded districts that it's new to them, but the plan right now that I'm working, I just sent Luke a draft of some of my ideas yesterday, is to move out of the building, start with boxes and stuff and identification tags, packing tape, etc., plus instructions for the teaching staff. So when they come back in April, they can start packing. So that by the time school ends, I'm going to empty the school into moving trucks. Hopefully small enough so that I could have one go around the back and deliver art room 3rd, 4th, and 5th. One go up by future pre-K and deliver library, cafeteria, gymnasium, and another truck come in the front entrance and drop off 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and the main office stuff. And then I'll still have a larger tractor trailer full of furniture that I'm probably going to move off site and store it over in the upper area of the DPW garage, where we can distribute it out at a less frantic pace to the schools.
So I guess what I'm suggesting,
we don't we have a delay in the shipment of the new furniture. We'll have it available.
perfect. Yeah, that's all I'm suggesting, is that we don't commit to distributing it until we were assured that we're going to get the new furniture. That's it. Thank you.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
This is
this is Rusty. I've got to get on a Zoom call in about 4 minutes, but two quick questions. One, in the new schedule that we put out, the idea that is that the classroom section of the school was all going to be done by May 15th. And it was anticipated we'd like to get the delivery as much furniture as possible at that point for two reasons. One, having it deliverable before the vast majority of other schools are getting furniture, which is down in June, July, August, we're more likely to get it on time. Secondly, so we can set up as much as we can in the classroom wing starting May 15th to give the teachers time between then and June 15th when they leave school to start the move-in process. So May 15th is on the schedule as that date. Secondly,
That's 1 month after the original schedule.
excuse me?
That's 1 month later than the original schedule, so it still gives us good time to procure.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm a little confused here on this extra work that's being done. I don't think we've actually approved it. We saw presentations of wall colors and all that stuff many months ago. And now, well, this is news to me. It may not be news to other people, but now we're seeing entirely different items. And the comment was made that it was anticipated in the price of the project. Yet I think SLAM is going to want to charge us for all this extra work. And we did make a decision months ago not to do any extra work because the cost, specifically it was with the serpentine ceiling, which most people did not want, but would require additional SLAM work to do just a plain ceiling. And that's why we didn't take that serpentine ceiling off. So I'm a little concerned that this hasn't been approved by the committee, this extra money, and that it is not in the project. Amy, is it or isn't it in the project?
So the finishes will represent some changes. The design work is new, and we're tracking that separately. You know, as you know, we don't usually design during CDs, but when requested and when it was necessary, we jump in and do that. And it's very important to get it done quickly because of the process and how it will affect the building that's being completed for May, as you point out. But I did suggest in an email with Kip and sent you along the invoice. There's a line item in our fee already that is going to go unused, which is a good amount. It's like $13,000 or $14,000 in a third-party code review line item that I suggest we transfer the funding of that to this owner requested changes, and we would bill hourly against that, and it'll be far less than the total anyway.
But it's still an added cost because we wouldn't have been spending it. Anyhow, I've got to run. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
But I wanted to throw out those two things. Have a good rest of the meeting.
To Rusty's point, aside from the design costs, do we have any idea, short of the PR being issued, any impacts on the materials itself in terms of schedule or dollars?
Mostly things are being replaced in kind. So carpet replaced by the same carpet. The only issue might be some restocking fee because carpet has already been ordered. I'm not certain about wall coverings and ceramic porcelain tile, but that'll be sorted out once we send the PR. There may be some restocking fees. It's not in place, so you're not paying for labor twice. And so to the extent possible, we selected the same materials.
All right. Any more questions on this particular issue?
Well,
Okay,
one thing, just George, for, as far as, I think we owe the committee some dates when we have to, if there's decisions to be made with a finish, then we say, all right, we need the decision by this date so that we can make sure we get it in time.
right.
Well,
That's
I
fine.
think Diane and to Katie's point and to Luke's point, the meeting last week was really successful. I don't anticipate any other changes coming along. So Amanda's already documenting all of that, and we're going to issue that as PR 27. Again, I don't want to make any promises. I don't know her workload for next week, but it'll be within days.
And Amy, Amanda's still going to get us that option, that one option that we had talked about, right, for the tile in the bathroom?
Yes. Yeah,
Great.
and yeah, so that's exactly what she's been pulling. And also, we're trying to come up with the best way to document the reuse of tiles from the existing Oxford School as a mosaic behind the water fountains.
Thank you.
Right.
And please let me know if I can be helpful in that discussion, just with logistics and volunteering Luke's time too and helping figure out getting into the school to take it and keep it. So thank you.
Sure.
All right, the only other item I have is that we need to have a updated cash flow schedule for our finance director of the town. And I was hoping we'd have it somewhere before Thanksgiving from ONGAP. It's needed because they want to talk about another bond offering that they'd be doing in January. So having that forecast is going to be very helpful to the Board of Finance.
Yeah, I can get that to you. Well,
Okay.
the construction part of it, yeah, by next week shouldn't be a problem.
Good.
Thursday, the 18th. That's all right.
That's fine. That'd be great. Anything else to discuss? Is there any
Kip,
public comment?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry, Kip, I just had one question.
Sure.
I just wanted to say that I really appreciated the photos that were included in the progress report, and it's really exciting to see the building coming to life as it will present in its final completion. But that did make me think too that perhaps it was time to see if it made sense to have another site tour for the committee, whether everyone is interested or maybe a smaller, just a quick one, just being cognizant that the weather has been really nice lately, but could start to deteriorate. So if that is something that others are interested in, might we be able to find a convenient time where we wouldn't be disruptive?
I turn that to George and his team.
I mean, tomorrow's going to be pretty bad weather-wise, but anytime, next week or whatever easiest for the committee. We do have foreman's meetings Wednesdays at 9:30, so we're usually there until around 11:30. But any other time is fine. Whatever the committee wants.
George, you guys work on the day after Thanksgiving or no?
Yes, we'll be here. I'm not sure how many of the trades, but we're here.
Hey, Katie, it's Duke. I know the board and new members and our new first selectman and maybe some of the new selectmen were interested in a tour and update also. So maybe we can coordinate with George and Dave in terms of the numbers. Maybe it needs to be everyone on site, but two quick tours or something like that. But maybe we can take it offline and knock out the board and any other officials in town and this committee. We can try and coordinate that if that makes sense to you.
I think that's a great idea. And I would just add that we want to make sure that we're not impeding anything Luke has going on with the school as well. So that sounds great to coordinate what's convenient for everyone.
And I would say from a logistics standpoint, I know last time, it was done where we were able to utilize the school's parking lot for it, so that people weren't trying to park on site. And I think we should be we should do that again. Just let all the visitors park in the paved parking lot to make sure that they have what they need from a safety perspective before they walk in the gate. Instead of people coming around the site, not sure where to go.
So some feedback from board members is maybe after school, whatever the short window is that we have light this time of year, but that we can utilize parking and get in and out. So, all right, Katie, I'll work with you offline on that.
Great, thanks so much.
Okay. There is no public comment that I'm aware of, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
From Duke, do I have a second? A second from Katie. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. Have a great Thanksgiving if I don't see you before that time. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kevin.
everyone.